I'm so excited for today's video because today I'm going to talk all about my cats. I have had a ton of questions already about how they travel, where we get food, where I take them to the vet, and we're going to talk about all of that and more. Not to brag, but I am the resident cat expert amongst all my friend groups, and it's a badge that I wear proudly. Yes, I have read many a book and watched many videos about how to give my cats a better life because they make my life so much more rich and vibrant and give me love, and they're just constantly making me laugh. So the least I can do is try to give them the best life that I can. Before traveling around full time, I lived in LA and I would travel home to Michigan 2 to 3 times a year with my 2 older boys. So traveling with them is nothing new. This is just a different form of travel. Much more comfortable, not constrained to a carrier, not crazy loud noise of an airplane taking off and landing. And now their home/comfort zone comes with us wherever we go, so it's a win. If you have yet to begin your journey and you're nervous about your kitty getting used to their new environment, it's all in how you introduce them to it. Slowly start introducing your kitty to both the truck and the trailer. First day, just let your kitty sniff around and discover the new environment. On the second and third day, start giving your kitty some treats in both the truck and the trailer. By the 4th or 5th day, you want to start feeding your kitty in the trailer and the truck. Alternate between both. By the 2nd week, put your kitty in your truck and drive around the block with them. You'll want to do this every day. If you have any additional weeks, you'll want to start doing a little bit longer trips every single day to get them more and more comfortable with the truck. Continue to feed them in the truck and the trailer during this time. This will give your kitty all the good vibes and the positive reinforcements about the 2 new environments. Cats do not do well when you just throw something new at them or throw them into a new environment. As much as we want them to be, they are not as adaptable as dogs. They take more time to get used to a new environment, a new pet, a new kind of living than a dog would. If you do the intro, if you do it slowly and still find that your cat is not adapting to both the driving or the new environment, well, there's a couple options that you can do. I recommend green Gorilla CBD, especially when it comes to driving. That just helps the cat relax, takes the edge off of things, makes it a much more peaceful drive. You can also do something called Feliway. There are sprays and there are plugins like a scent, and it just gives off the right kind of pheromones for a cat to just calm and decompress and be much more relaxed in the new environment or in the new truck. 2 out of my 3 cats did really well with the slow intro, but 1 did not. Matthew needed the CBD for sure. And it took a while, a little over 3 months, but he began to not need the CBD. And now he's a really good traveler. It will take time. Just be patient with your kitty. I promise it will pay off. Now, one thing I do have to do with the cats that I wouldn't really have to accommodate for if I was by myself is traveling with the weather. Right after I went to the Florida Keys in December, I was planning to spend some time in the Everglades. However, as it was approaching that week, I looked ahead and it was going to be high 80s the entire time I was there. I was not going to be in a park with shore power. I was going to be running off of my solar system. And while my solar system is good for running my air conditioner for a little while at a time, it is not good for consistently using it all day and all through the night. In those kind of temperatures, I would need to leave the AC running all day and all night like I did in the Florida Keys. So I had to cancel our trip to the Everglades and went north to Orlando instead. I did try a couple of other campgrounds that had shore power that I could plug into, but all of them were booked up. When I'm not in my camper, I use my Simply Safe system to monitor the temperature inside the camper. I can just pull up my app, look at the temperature, and see what it's like inside the camper without being in the camper. Thankfully, so far, I've never run into a situation where it's been too hot and I've had to abandon my plans and come back. Every single time I've been in warm weather, I've made sure to make a reservation in a campground that does let me plug in, so I really haven't had to worry about it at all. Now, on days when it's warm but not too warm, what I do is I create a really good airflow. I turn my air conditioner on just the fan mode so it's pulling air inside. I turn the fan above my bed to push air out, It creates a lovely airflow that gets air in. I leave all the windows open, and it always keeps the trailer cool enough for the boys. I meant the family. Ugh! I've had just boy cats for so long, and just getting JoJo last year, both my mom and I struggle, and we say the boys all the time, so sorry, JoJo. For their health care, veterinary care, we have a vet in Michigan. I always plan to be in Michigan around the holidays and for a while during summer. So being home every 6 months provides a great opportunity to get any wellness checks done, any shots caught up on during those 2 time periods. I'll talk about it more in a little bit, but Bear has kidney disease and he needs to get a blood panel done every 6 months. So I time it when I'm home every 6 months so he can get that test and we can continue to make sure that he is still healthy. However, when it comes to any incidents that happens on the road, what I have done is I bring them to animal hospitals. I did have an incident where I was going to have to bring Matthew into a vet, but they were going to charge me for an evaluation / wellness check before they would run any tests on him. And what I found is animal hospitals, they will not make you do that welcome appointment, that wellness exam. They will just take your pet and do whatever needs to be done to get them better. Literally just last week, I had to bring JoJo to the animal hospital because I was noticing that she was using the litter box a lot and howling when she was going to the bathroom, and sure enough, she had a UTI. Bringing her to a normal vet would have cost me that wellness exam, but bringing her to the animal hospital, all they charged me was for a visitation fee on top of the medicine that it costs to get her all better. For the incident I discussed with Matthew, he ended up just needing some medication that my vet mailed to us. In that situation, we were headed to a harvest host that I was going to be at for a few days, and I messaged the harvest host and asked them if it would be okay to send some medicine their way. Turns out they're animal people, especially cat people, and they were more than happy to get the medicine sent to them, and it arrived the day that I rolled up. So if you ever need to get some medicine shipped to you, you can do it to a campground, you can do it to a harvest host, you can even do it to a post office through their general delivery program. Just make sure you're calling ahead and asking if it is okay. Just last year, I signed Mojo Jojo and Matthew up for pet insurance. I decided not to do it with Bear because he already has enough health issues that I felt like every claim was going to be denied. So I just did the 2 younger ones. I use a company called Lemonade, and it has been amazing so far. Just with this incident with JoJo last week, I double checked with them whether they would cover things, procedures, or medications that would not be through their normal vet, and they confirmed no matter where they get care, as long as it's in the United States, they will cover it unless it's a pre-existing condition. The only thing about Lemonade is you do have to submit every claim manually, but it's actually really easy to do. You just open up the app, you start a new claim, you fill out everything. You have to take a picture of the receipt that you got from the vet and upload it, and if it is not a pre-existing condition, they will go ahead and reimburse you for a specific amount, and it'll show up in your bank account a few days later. But I really like Lemonade so far, so I recommend it if you are looking for a pet insurance company. If you have a cat with health issues or is on medication, let me assure you that this lifestyle is still possible. Matthew and Bear are quite cruel to me and both have quite a few health issues, so they both need constant medication. Matthew has a lot of respiratory issues and allergies, and Bear has kidney disease. Bear gets fluids via an IV every day from Monday to Friday. He's also on prescription medication, and he is on prescription supplements. The simple solution for that is every single time I'm home, I just make sure to get enough medicine for the next 6 to 7 months. So I bring it all with us everywhere we go. Like I mentioned before with Matthew, my vet is also willing to mail medications to me. So if I get in a tight spot, get in a pinch, run out last minute, they will mail me some medication. You can also do prescriptions through Chewy, and that's their whole model, sending things through the mail, so they make it really easy as well. All 3 cats have different food, which is super fun for me. And on top of that, 2 of them are on prescription food. So fun! So far on my journey, what I have done is I have sent Chewy packages to friends or family's house that I'll be near, or campgrounds, or harvest hosts where I'll be at. Again, always just calling ahead and making sure that that is okay. You can also ship packages to UPS or FedEx offices. You do, again, have to call ahead and make sure that it's okay. When I order food, I try and order a 2 to 3 month supply at a time, just so I'm not having to worry about sending a package to a random place every month. So what about the litter box? For me, my litter box just simply lives in my shower. It was a really great place to put it that was out of the way, but also had a little bit of barrier to it so they wouldn't be throwing litter all over the place. It would stay in the shower and I could just clean it up whenever I'm changing the litter box. Ma'am. I also use pine pellets for litter, which is so much better than clay litter. Not only is it so much better for the environment, but it does not smell like clay litter does. I really didn't realize until after I had switched to wood pellets how terrible clay litter smelled, and how when you walk into an environment with clay litter, it just knocks you in the face. Not only is it better for the environment, but a 40-pound bag runs me about $6 to $7 compared to a 30-pound pail of cat litter that will be $15, $16 or more dollars. My preferred brand of pine pellets is purchased from Tractor Supply. It usually comes in this white bag. I can't tell you the exact brand, but it only goes for $6 or $7. Why I like their brand best is because their pine pellets are about this long when other pine pellets are about this long. Yes, little ones will sneak into the Tractor Supply bag, but these are better because these don't get caught between paws like this one does. I will find little pieces of this that makes its way out of the litter box, but when they're this long, it's a lot harder for the cat to pick it up and drag it out of the litter box. Of course, completely on accident, but still happens. But not as much when they're this long. If you do pine pellets, you will need a sifting litter box. That's what makes it the easiest. I've seen a couple different types of sifting litter boxes. Some people have made their own. What you do is you take the dirty litter box, you pour it into the sifter, and you shake it all around, and all the sawdust will fall to the bottom box. So the top will be all those still really good pine pellets that you will just pour right back in the main litter box. And then the sawdust gets thrown away. I pour it into a bin, and if I'm not around a dumpster when that bin gets full, I will pour that bin into a garbage bag and throw it away when I do have access to a dumpster. Another element of the kitty litter experience is the litter genie. I have used a litter genie for years and years and years. I have a cat with stomach problems who will just drop nuclear bombs in the litter box that need to be scooped immediately, and the windows need to be open and air freshener needs to be sprayed, and that litter genie helps me get rid of the stinky smell as fast as possible. That's another way to dump their poop and not have to throw it away into a dumpster right away. It will collect into a bag in a below chamber, and when the bag gets full, just twist it off and throw it away. Cannot live without my litter genie. I cannot stress that enough. It is essential. It is vital. It is my savior. A question that I would get a lot from friends and family is where my cats are when I drive. Like, referencing them being in the trailer while I drive, which no. The cats are in the truck with me when I drive. You never know what could happen in the camper. God forbid there's an accident and something happens while you're in the truck and they're in the trailer. My cats do not stay in the trailer while I'm driving. Remember all those positive reinforcements I talked about at the beginning? Keeping them in here while the trailer is moving would be a negative reinforcement for them. Can you imagine just all the way down the road how awful that would be? And yes, there's the movement in the truck, but it's a lot more comfortable in there. Better riding experience. But you just don't know what could happen back there. The inevitable will happen where things will fall, doors will open, things will fall out. On my trip home from Florida, I had a full pasta jar fall from my pantry, land and shatter on my counter and splatter everywhere. And I am still finding pasta sauce in unexpected places. But can you imagine what that would have been like for my cats had they been back there? That would have been a horrendous situation for them. And that was just a jar of pasta sauce. There could be other things that could go wrong. God forbid somebody could hit your trailer, or the trailer could disconnect and the cats would be back here. Of course, I'm going to show you how to properly hook up your trailer so you won't have to worry about your trailer getting disconnected. But anyway, before starting my journey, I was convinced that I was going to have them all in harnesses, all buckled in the back seat, and they would be all fine back there. Fast forward to one of our test trips. Actually, the first test trip, they all immediately got tangled in the back seat, and that didn't work out. So now I do let my cats free roam around my truck. Thankfully, they don't jump up onto the dashboard or go by my feet. They have been curious one or two times, but I've been able to just shove them over with my foot, or when they look like they're curious about to jump up, I'll just kind of call their name in a tone that they know that they shouldn't be doing that, and they'll stop. JoJo's two favorite spots are my lap or the console, which is just so cute. Bear doesn't have a favorite spot. You'll find him in a different place every single time we're driving. Matthew sleeps for a little bit, wakes up, screams, sings a song of his people, lays back down, wakes up, sings a song of his people, goes back to bed, wakes up, you know, on and on and on. But when he's chill and not screaming, he does prefer the cube. He's just a chatterbox. He just likes talking, okay? He likes the sound of his voice. And you know what? I like it too. So go for it. Two things I recommend having in your truck is both a litter box and a little kind of cubby or safe space for your kitty to crawl into. If they're ever feeling uncomfortable, having that little space for them to crawl into is a really good idea so they can curl up in a ball and just kind of comfort themselves. I have this little cube from IKEA. It's open on two sides and they all love it. They don't fight over it, but they all want to be in it, so I just got a second cube, so hopefully they're all happy. The cats do use the litter box well in motion. Not all of them. JoJo waits until we're stops and then uses it, but I have it there in case they ever feel the urge to go to the bathroom. Cats can hold liquid in their bladders for quite a while. I mean, I used to travel 7-8 hours at a time across the country with my two boys in the cat carriers in a plane, and they would never use the bathroom during that time. But having the litter box there and available just makes it a much more comfortable experience for them. I don't keep water in the truck because, you know, it would all slosh around, but when we're stopped, I do offer them water. Sometimes when we stop, I'll just keep them in the truck. Other times, if we're stopping for a little bit longer, I will bring them all back into the camper so they can scratch and stretch and use the litter box and use the water fountain back here. But if they're in the truck, I just have this collapsible water bowl that I'll pour some water into so they can get all hydrated. Matthew and Bear can eat a full meal before we travel. JoJo gets a teeny bit of anxiety or car sickness. I don't know which one it is exactly, but she gets only a light snack before we travel, or else she throws it up, which is super fun. But that kind of thing can happen, so just learn from your cat and adjust for what they need. If they are getting sick, no matter how much you feed them before you travel, then just give them that lighter snack or feed them in the middle of the journey once you're already traveling. I find that works best for JoJo, a light snack before, and then in the middle of travel, I'll give her the rest of her food and she won't get sick for the rest of the trip. If you aren't as lucky as I am and your kitty tends to jump on the dashboard or go by the pedals at your feet, there are larger kennels that you can get on Amazon. I really recommend a kennel that they would be able to stand up, turn around, lay down, move around in a little bit. It would also be awesome if you could fit a litter box in there, but like I said before, a cat can hold it for quite a long time, so if you're not on an all-day journey, they can just stay in the kennel without a litter box for a while. As of right now, none of my cats go outside on a leash, so I can't really speak to this topic if you are interested in this. But I am hoping to introduce JoJo to her harness and a leash sometime in the future. Matthew and Bear are both completely uninterested in going outside. JoJo is showing some interest. I have a little mesh pop-up tent that will sit outside and I can put the cats in it. And JoJo loves it the most. So that makes me think that she would like walking around on a harness. However, I just haven't had the time to train her. The places we've been to, when I mentioned that I have cats, most of them have recommended that I keep them inside. So I haven't brought them outside to try and walk around and see if they like it. And just like introducing them to the new environment, introducing them to a harness and a leash does take time and patience and training and snacks and positive reinforcements. So I just haven't had the time to do that quite yet for JoJo. If you do want to take them outside, I highly recommend getting a tracker for them. There are pluses and minuses to all trackers, so make sure to do your research on which one will fit best for you. I don't have one yet, so I cannot recommend one, and I'm still unsure of which one I want to get. So if you have any recommendations for a tracker that you like for your cats, please leave it in the comments below, and I would very much appreciate it. Now, all 3 of my cats are on flea/heartworm medication, just in case something were to crawl up and inside the camper and bite them, or when they're outside in the mesh tent. I've had fleas before and it is just the worst thing, so anything I can do to prevent that, I am going to do. It doesn't matter if you have a giant Class A motorhome or a truck camper or a van. It's what you put into that space and what you provide for your cat that's really going to matter. Even though cats require slow introductions, they are very adaptable to any size space. For my cats, I have about a bazillion toys. I have a water fountain, a cat tree, a tunnel for them to run through. I also have this fun little toy that I put treats into, and JoJo has to move the toy to get the treats out to enrich her in that way. And I also have some scratchers that they can rub their face on both under the bed and by their water. My cats really haven't been scratching anywhere besides the cat tree, but if you do find your cat scratching in an area where your cat tree isn't, that's just a sign that they need a scratcher there. It can be wall mounted, it can be on the floor. Just put a scratcher by where they're scratching, say on the edge of your bed, and they should start scratching that scratching pad and not your mattress. And also they have each other. I cannot stress enough how well cats do in pairs. While Bear is a little too old for playing now, Matthew and JoJo are little nutso crazies, and they just run all around, chase each other around, chase each other up and down the cat tree, and play with each other. I do need to spend some extra time with JoJo because she has a little bit more energy in her cache than Matthew does, but she's still a kid, so it's totally fine. And then of course, besides everything that I provide for them, the windows everywhere provide a really fun enrichment activity for the cats to look out and see all the little critters in nature just scuttle on by. But how do I keep the cats off surfaces that they shouldn't be on? Say you would rather your cat not jump on the counter, or for me, keeping them off the wood stove. I would rather they not learn the lesson of staying off the wood stove by stepping on it and burning their little paws when it's all hot. Instead, I am being proactive for that. Spraying your cats with water is not a good way to teach them where they can and cannot be. All that's teaching them is to not do that action in front of you. As soon as you step out, they're going to do the action because you're not around. What you need to do is you need to have the item tell the cat that it doesn't want to be stepped on. And how you do that is through a motion detector spray. This can is full of scentless compressed air that sprays whenever motion is detected in front of the spray. So this is the item saying get off me versus me spraying my cat saying don't do this in front of me. These are a little bit expensive to get started, but there is a trick that you can do to pump these full of air using a tire pump for like a bike. So there is a really good video on YouTube that I will link below that you can watch about how you fill these back up. So again, a little expensive to get started, and you're never going to get as much air back in the canister by refilling it the way that this guy does it, but at least you're not buying cans of air over and over and over again. Once you have the first cans to get started, all you need is that tire pump and this little part, and you can put air back in and just continue to teach them to stay off objects. To me, there are no cons to having my cats travel with me. They bring such light, love, and laughter into my life that I would never do this without them. So making these accommodations is well worth it for me. Hopefully I was able to walk you through this lifestyle and assure you that you can do this with pets, no matter if they have a health issue or medications. If I happen to have left anything out, please let me know in the comments below. I could talk endlessly about my cats, so please go for it. But thank you so much for watching and following along. We'll see you on the next one, huh?